Hello everyone, and happy Purple Friday. For this week's Truman Tech Break, we'll be discussing the cloud-based presentation software Prezi. Launched in 2009, Prezi has been heralded by many as the PowerPoint killer, and for good reason. The software does have some advantages over the traditional slideshow. Aesthetic appeal aside, Prezi encourages students and presenters to think of how items in their project connect to each other in the topic's bigger picture, rather than simply listing facts across a string of slides. Alright, so the first thing you're going to want to do to start making a Prezi is go to Prezi.com. I'll go ahead and put a link in the description down there for you. If this is your first time ever going on to Prezi, go ahead and click Get Started, and it'll take you to a page that has their various packages available for you. There are public free accounts, that's what I use, I think that's what most people use. So this will probably be adequate for all of your needs. I'm going to click Log On here since I already have an account. And to begin a new Prezi, all I have to do is just click on New Prezi there. Now it'll take a little bit of time to set up, so I'll explain what's going to happen next is we're going to have to choose a template. Templates are basically the beginning layout of your presentation. You can make a lot of changes to them, obviously. One of my favorites is Above the Clouds here. Okay, and as you can see, this is the full beginning layout of your presentation. Rather than being one slide, all of your frames, as we'll call them here, will be located within this little square. Oops. Okay, so I'm just going to give you a quick walkthrough here. Oops, I'm going to get my mouse to stop doing that. There we go. Okay. So on the left here, we have the various frames that are in our path right now. I'm going to go ahead and explain that in a little bit more depth at the end of this presentation. But just so you know, what we have here are selected the different. This is basically what our presentation would look like right now if we were to go through it. We can edit that just like in PowerPoint, say that we wanted to change these two. You just click and drag. Now that one is there, and now we're going backward instead of forward. So that's basically what we have there is how to edit our path. First, though, we do need to make our presentation. So let me go ahead and click on this here. It's not wanting to do it. There we go. Okay, so this is our title here. We'll go ahead and name this Prezi. Not being very creative this morning. We have a subtitle here. We can name it Truman Tech Breaks. Now, with our text here, we can go ahead and bold it if we'd like. We can italicize or unitalicize. We can make bullets if we need to. We can make it different colors if that's something that we want to do. So there's a lot. You can move it around, as you can see. So there's a lot of stuff you can do with text here. If you want to zoom down to any specific row, you can go ahead and click on the frame here, or just double click on the image itself, and it'll bring you down. So let's name this bubble number 1. And as you can see, you can add text there. If you want to add additional text, just double click. You can put text there. Double click, you can put text outside the bubbles if you want. You're not limited to that. Also, you can move around any of the items here. You can move around the little symbols if you want. You can move around a circle as a whole. You can move around the arrows that go between circles. There's a lot of different, everything is manipulatable in this program. Now let's go ahead and go to the next bubble. Here I'm going to go ahead and show you we can insert YouTube videos in our presentations as well. So once you get the URL, you can just copy paste it into there. There's our, stop zooming out. Here's our 3D printer video from a couple weeks ago. So go ahead and fit that into there. Next we can go ahead and insert symbols and shapes. So you're just going to go ahead and insert symbols and shapes, and you've got a wide variety here. I'm going to go ahead and pick the mouse mouse. Let's go with the mouse here. You can resize them if you'd like. Once again, I can add any kind of text in here. I can add another text box if I want to. Lots of different things I can do. For this last box, oops, there we go. Let's say that we don't want this last box, or rather that we want it to be more of a square shape rather than a circle shape. What I can do is go up here, change frame to rectangle, click on new frame, and there we have a little bit of a rectangle frame here that I can manipulate as well. Now let's say I want one of those arrows there as well. All I have to do is draw an arrow. And now I've got an arrow pointing toward my rectangle. Okay, now another thing we can do here is customize our presentation. So let's say that we wanted to customize our theme just a little bit more. We've got various color schemes here. Right now it's just set on kind of a sky blue. I'm going to go with autumn because it is autumn right now. That's appropriate. And now we've got a little bit of different color scheme here. I like that one. Looks good. Alright, so we've gone ahead and edited our presentation here. Now all we need to do is set the path that we want. To do that, as I discussed earlier, we're just going to have to go up to this left-hand side here. Now you're going to right-click. For Mac users, you can control-click and hit Edit Path. Now I just kind of want to start from scratch, so I'm going to go ahead and just get rid of all of this. And now whatever we click on will be in our path. So first of all, I think I'm just going to want to make one big frame of our entire presentation. And then maybe we can zoom in on our title here. For our next frame, let's go ahead and make it the bubble number 1. And bubble number 1's title, if we had text for bubble number 1, we could zoom in on that instead, or in addition to. Since the video is really the only thing inside this bubble, let's go ahead and just zoom in on that. Oops. For the next, let's go ahead and zoom in on the entire bubble, and then the mouse for the next frame. And let's go ahead and zoom in on the arrow there. And our last frame will be that empty box. Let's go ahead and see what we made. We can hit Present. And we'll hit Allow. Okay, so this is our first frame. As you can see, we've got our entire presentation located inside of it. You can see everything, how everything connects. And then for some people, that'll be extremely useful. Looks like our subtitle kind of ran off the border there. We can fix that later. Now, I'm clicking right on the directional pad right now to advance the frames. So here we go. We are looking at our title and subtitle. Here we are looking at our first bubble as a whole. Zoom in a little bit on the text there. I believe next we've got, once we zoom in on the video, it's auto-playing. That's a nice feature. Next we're looking at the third bubble as a whole, and then when I click on the directional pad, we zoom in on the mouse. Next, we're zoomed in on the arrow. Now, this can be useful if, for whatever reason, you want to put text on top of an arrow to explain the logical progression from one bubble to another. And finally, we've got this box here as our final little area. So that will end our presentation. And before I end my presentation, I just want to discuss how we can share these. Now, one thing you can do is you can present remotely. What that does is it'll give you a link here, and you can copy that link, email it to your friends, and they'll be able to watch your presentation as real-time as you're doing it. Now, this can be useful, for instance, if during a video conferencing event, if that's something that you'd want to do. And as you can see, a maximum of 30 people can watch a remote presentation at any time. Additionally, something you can do is you can share on Facebook, you can download it, or you can simply share a Prezi through email. So all you do is similar to the remote presentation and just copy this link, or you can add friends by email automatically. Well, that concludes my presentation on Prezi today. Remember, if you have any questions, please email tfitzler@truman.edu for the Learning Technologies office, and I'll be happy to help you out. Thanks, and have a good weekend.